Okay, welcome back to the Rock and Roll channel. The reason why it's just 2 weeks after Mania is because I did another vlog adventure after it, but Steve was always ready to come back on, talk a little Mania. So I said, man, we got to come back on and talk about our week in Vegas. We don't have to go over the card again unless you really want to. I think that's been kind of done. But a lot of our weekend was different. A lot of week was different, and a lot was very similar. When we hung out a lot together and had a great time with you out there, man. I really appreciate it. So welcome back, Steve. You're not a guest anymore. You're just like Rock and Roll family. But man, talk about your week, man. What you thought about it, your big return to WrestleMania.
I thought it was awesome to actually go to the matches and see WrestleMania. I think that when I look back on this trip, I think I hit WrestleCon really too hard. We know when I used to go to WrestleCon back in the day, I would kind of have like a list of like 10 wrestlers that I wanted to meet, and that it meant something. You could remember the conversation you had with them. I met maybe 30 to 40 wrestlers, and like there's some that I look and I'm just like, I know I met them. But I don't really have that moment. But I was just looking to knock a whole bunch of wrestlers off that I had never got a chance to meet. That as time went by, I was getting scared if I would ever have a chance to meet them again.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. But you had basically announced before it that you were going to go hard there.
Yeah, I know, but
and you were at the same hotel as WrestleCon, so it really, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I mean, like people like think like, is WrestleCon worth it? Like the wrestlers charge a lot of money. You got to think about it. Maybe if you live somewhere where they run a lot of independent shows and they're bringing wrestlers in, and you have a chance to do meet and greets. I live here in Sacramento, California, and we have 2 local indie promotions, and they don't bring a lot of wrestlers in. They just kind of like just base it off of the wrestlers that they got. And Lex Luger's not coming here. Kevin Nash isn't coming here. And if you want to meet them, you got to pay them, because they have to fly there. They got to stay there. They got to eat just like everybody else. I mean, this is their job now.
Yeah, no, I agree. So basically my week is I did WrestleCon not quite to like Steve did. Like I watched my vlog back from the other day, and I was like, man, I was like barely there. But I was also in between autographs with the world that I didn't know about till I was doing the day before I left.
You were bumping it back and forth. I went to the world one day, and then I went to the world the second day, and I only went there to meet John Cena. I can honestly say that the world underperformed in my book. If you didn't go out of your way to book an autograph signing or a picture with a wrestler, I really thought that the inside of the world was really nothing much. I mean, there was stuff in there that was cool, like seeing the Mattels, seeing the stuff that they had planned for Tops. They kind of had like a past, present, future of cards that they've come out with. But I mean, other than that, I was done in like an hour. I mean, like I was looking around, like there's got to be something I missed, and there was nothing out there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know I was going to do more of the world until the day before I left. Literally, a bunch of autographs opened up that I really needed for my encyclopedia. And I said, if you don't do it now, who knows when you're going to get it?
Yeah.
Nothing is a guarantee in this world. So I remember walking around a little being like, yeah, I'm done. I know I went in there with the mentality of let's vlog this, let's vlog that. You got more than me. I was done. Maybe because I was running back and forth a little just that Friday. Thursday, I did have to be at the Chris Van Vliet show. And we'll talk about our days a little bit and how it came through. Only reason I stayed a little bit longer on Friday after I got Finn Balor's autograph is because I ran into Chris Van Vliet and BJ Ray.
Oh, awesome.
From WLG. I mean, I don't know. I know I met him then, but I got them to make cameos. The only reason I stayed another 15, 20 minutes, and I thought it was cool to Cena through the years.
Oh, like all the shirts. It was like the Eras tour, but it was John Cena.
Right. So I thought that was cool, and I made sure to get that. Superstore, we could talk about. We did it right. Yeah, we got up a little early that Thursday, and we were waiting in a line to buy stuff. But do you notice that the crowds dropped there?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
I went there 2 more times. I think I went there Friday night, and then I also went there Monday, and I was kind of cruising through. I was kind of surprised. I know that they have limited items that they're gonna sell out, like the Yeet the Yeet Flakes the first day, the John Cena figure.
They're on WWE Shop. The Frosted
Yeah,
Eats.
but I mean, those things were made to sell out. But I was surprised. I mean, like,
it did, John.
There was so many wrestlers that they just didn't have shirts for. It was like Jey Uso, John Cena, a little bit of CM Punk. Roman Reigns had some stuff there, but like they were heavily featuring like the WrestleMania shirts themselves. And like if you were, needed a shirt of like Braun Breaker or anything like that, you were out of luck. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I didn't have it. Right.
Yeah, but the world, I wouldn't say not to go. Like, if you're going to get an autograph or a picture, it works out nicely. I mean, you're forced to buy it anyway, so you might as well enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, if you're not doing autographs or pictures, I wouldn't plan your weekend around the world. Now, granted, we were in Vegas where there's so much to do and so much going on. That party, you said, man, if I spend more time here, I'm missing out on something really cool somewhere else.
That's the truth.
If you were in a town that's not as much going on or gets busier at nighttime and quiet during the day, the world becomes a lot better. Vegas is Vegas. But so let's talk about it. We got there Wednesday. We met up Wednesday night, hung out for a little bit at Target.
Oh, there we go.
With Target, I found you on the strip.
Oh, I was in a bad place, man. I was
it was all good.
Parking lot surrounded by a fence.
Yeah.
I didn't know what direction I was going.
I had to bring that up, bro. Sorry. It cracked me up when I called you. I said, all right, where are you? And you said, I'm in an alley with a. I'm like, all right, stay calm. I'm like, all right, what do you see? And then you were telling me what you saw, and we ended up meeting up. It was fun. Yeah, and then we hung out at your hotel for a bit at the Westgate, because I wanted to see that sports book that was on that TV show I used to watch, and at one time was the biggest sports book in Vegas.
Damn.
Yeah. That was Las Vegas Hilton. That's where everybody really went. Locals, everybody. So hung out there Thursday. You and I met up at the Superstore that morning. Thank God you got there early and got a prime spot in line. Thank you again for that.
I don't even know how I ended up there. Like, I think I went there to get my bands to get into the world. And I just, like, everybody else was getting in line. So I was like, I might as well get in line too. And I didn't know it was going to be like that.
No, it was funny because I called you and you said, I'm just walking around, just checking to see where the convention center is because it was right by your hotel. I said, okay. You said you randomly wound up in the right line, but it was great.
I was kind of looking around like to see what was going on, and this one guy recognized me, and like we were kind of talking. I just asked him like, where was he going? And he said he wanted to go over to the Superstore.
Right.
I just kind of wandered with him, and I just wound up over there.
So that was funny. And then on the way out, you were saying, man, Hulk Hogan's beer is not in California yet. I wish I could try it here. And I was like, they should have it. I mean, they're a sponsor with Netflix. We walk out and somehow in the convention center, there's a little mini bar set up and we hear real American beer right here. He was like, Steve was like, what wrestling god put that there?
That was a wrestling miracle right there.
Yeah.
An Austin
right there.
Hogan beers, WWE spiked punch beers. Yeah.
And I haven't seen that anywhere else since then.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the bars carried that. That's another reason how Vegas was so great, man. Every place just embraced wrestling.
Yeah.
Not just WrestleMania. I mean, obviously that's what the moneymaker was, but wrestling, man. Like so many signs there. Welcome wrestling fans. Welcome WWE. Welcome GCW fans for the weekend. You name it.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool. Even the Nerd Bar in Las Vegas had that special spike punch. I mean, they're wrestling friendly, but I thought that was cool. And they had just come out with that. But So we go there, we go to Superstore. Then we went separately. I don't think we saw each other the rest of that day. I did the Chris Van Vliet show. It was a lot of fun. Our Truth was a riot, but also very serious too. I don't know if we talked about that. He just talked about how, man, he's had to overcome a lot of obstacles.
I heard a clip from his show today where he was talking about getting busted smoking the cigarette, and he got fined 20 grand. That's the one clip I've seen online.
Yeah, and he talked about just his injuries he's had to battle back from that were crazy. So he got very serious there, which was just so cool. And then you went to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast thing that I would have gone to if I didn't go to Van Vliet. Man, talk about that, because that was one of the biggest stories of the weekend.
I've been a big fan of that show. I think it's been going like 5 or 6 years. I honestly didn't start listening until they hit the 1-year anniversary. And for some reason, I was like, oh, I guess this is a real thing. And so I started listening there. But I was really surprised how everybody there was people like me. It was the first show they'd ever been to. But I would say more than half of the people were like saying like this was like their 10th show. And they just go wherever they go, and it's one heck of a community. There was people, walking around asking for when you walked in, they gave you kind of gifts, and he was kind of like scavenging up, like who doesn't want your card, who doesn't want your pin, and he was like, I'm not selling these, I promise, I'm giving them to the other people in the group that didn't come, but they collect this stuff, so. Yeah. They just help each other out. I really
there's exclusive stuff from each show specifically.
Yeah. I really didn't want to carry anything out of there. I just basically just wanted to just walk out the way I came in. But they kept like telling me I won figures. I won this Ultimate Warrior figure, so I gave it to the guy that bought my ticket for me. Cool. I won this Sting figure that I ended up taking home and trying to give back to Matt Cardona at WrestleCon the next day. Like, I just don't have room to take this home. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't want to carry it around anymore. And I was like, just give it to a kid. And he's like, you give it to a kid. And I was like, that's weird, man. So he me to a kid that I gave this wrestling figure to, and it made both of our days.
That's awesome. Yeah. My night ended after that. I was tired. I was ready to call it a day. You continued, man.
I went out to Fremont Street. It was
right.
I will say that I've heard from most of the people getting around Las Vegas was very easy.
Yeah.
On the other side of the strip, leaving the Palms almost every night was a problem. And I don't know if maybe these drivers didn't want to go over there or something like that. But it took a long time. I finally got picked up. They took me out to Fremont Street, and I was hoping that the show was going to be an hour and a half. 3 a.m. I'm in a parking lot talking to myself, and I'm just like, what are we doing with our lives here, Steve? Like, we told ourselves we were not going to do this. Like, we were going to go to bed at a normal time. Like, here in Sacramento, California, I don't stay up past. If I'm up at 9 o'clock, it's like, whoa, some stuff's going down. Like it's a Kings game or a 49ers game or something like that. But
right, we're wrestling.
Man, I just 3 a.m. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, because we were supposed to go there together, and I tapped out, and I texted you, said, I'm so sorry. And you're like, dude, I totally get it.
I laughed. It was funny. There was good times.
I said I didn't miss much.
But there was definitely times that I was like looking at the clock, like, dude, it's like 2 a.m. Like, what are we doing? Let's wrap this sucker up. Let's go.
So that was Thursday. So Friday, we saw each other for maybe combined 5 minutes to 5 minutes. Yeah. That's when our days were radically different. And that's what we knew that. We knew at some points our weekends would interact. Sometimes we wouldn't. But
yeah.
So that day, that was my busiest day by far. I thought Thursday was. Friday topped it by a mile, but in a good way. I get up in the morning. I see R-Truth again after the night before because I had that autograph from him that I got the day before I left. We talked about the show, and the first thing he said was, man, how about that crazy lady's question? The last one, something like that, because I told him I was at the show last night and I asked him a question. He goes, that lady, I said, oh, Miss Canada. And he about fell off the chair laughing. And I was like, I just popped R-Truth?
That's it.
If no one else was there, like no one's gonna believe me. So he was cool, and I got to give some credit, man. The day before, I got an autograph from Kevin Owens. He took a picture with me at the table.
Yeah,
He didn't have to. He was not supposed to. It was just an autograph. He happily took pictures with everybody. R-Truth did too, and Finn Balor did. Even Finn Balor, when they were rushing me along, and I took my camera out, he stopped. So I got to give WWE wrestlers, like, they really went out of their way for people. But yeah, I got R-Truth, and then I saw you. I went to WrestleCon. Oh, your mic, Steve.
Again?
There we go. Now you're good.
Oh, I understood. It cost a lot of money to do those things, and I think everybody was wanting to make sure that everybody got the moment that they were hoping for.
Yeah, and people waited in line. Nobody complained. Because I was wondering why the Owens line was taking a while. Because I remember usually autograph lines are pretty quick, or fairly quick, because no pictures, no nothing. And that's when I realized Kevin was taking pictures with everybody. And that when he posed, the handlers did it for you. The R-Truth and Finn Balor one, I kind of had to sneak those a little, but the WWE handlers weren't stopping them, which was cool. So I go over to WrestleCon because I had like 3 or 4 missions to do there, and that was it. And that's when I texted you, said I'm on the way. I saw you, and you were looked like you were in the Ironman triathlon. I called him. He's like, okay, I got to focus. I'm in line for this person. And I was like, okay, man, I got you. I'm not going to interrupt. So, okay, meet me at Danhausen. So that's when I ran into you there the first time. Oh, my friend has a question for you, John.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, hold on. Question for Steve. How did those feet feel after walking around in them sandals all day?
I got like a little bit of I don't want to call it like a rash or something like that, but I got like a maybe kind of a blister that didn't become a blister. Like I got a red mark, but it was cool. I wear sandals honestly as much as I can. I wear boots all day long as a meat cutter at the grocery store. I take those things off as soon as I can. Man, I honestly I hate wearing shoes.
Oh, I hear you. I used to my ankles, man. I can't do the sandals. Like I think I walked once the whole trip to the pool in sandals, and it felt so weird. But so I see you at WrestleCon, and you were like sweating and like
it was hot in there.
It was hot in there. I explained it was hard to film in there.
Yeah,
we felt kind of like congested.
Yeah. And another thing that I guess I can say scared. Another way to put it was because of the West Coast time zone, like Mania starting earlier. Like the convention was only from like 9 to 1, and it was like my list.
You stayed late.
I wanted to meet like 20 people, and like there's like longer lines than others, so you're trying to like, where can I knock out these people? And then there was people I didn't even know where they were. Like,
yeah, you helped me a few times.
There was 2 separate rooms off of the ballroom that I didn't know they were there for 2 days.
Yeah,
and
we were there for different people, I think.
Yeah.
So we chatted there, and you were like sweating, like, okay, because you had the schedule there. Mm-hmm. I got to get to this person. I got to get to that person. So I'm like, do your thing. But I think I asked you where Sabu was. You're like, he's right there. You really catch your breath. So I go to Sabu. I got his autograph. I went to JoJo. She signed my encyclopedia and an autograph for a friend of mine. Can't say enough great things about her. And then I went to Sandman, and he gave me his price. And as much as I love Sandman, I said, screw that. So I walk away, and I said, I'm gonna take a flyer on the Hardys. That line was wrapped around. As you know.
Huge! It never stopped.
It never stopped the whole weekend. They put them in the right spot. Mm-hmm. So I see this Hardy Boys 2-pack that I love, that I know is not getting signed that weekend. I did not want to take it on the next leg of my vlog. First person I go to in line there, I'm like, have you heard of the Josware Vault Hardy Boy 2-pack? He's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, listen, man, here it is right here in the box. Just give me what I paid for it. I sold it right there. So then I said, all right, now in my mind, I just got a little money, mental math. I'm going to go back to Sandman and negotiate. So I go to his handler. He told me the price, and I said, can you just throw in a pick for me? And he goes, absolutely no problem. We love working with the fans. Mm-hmm. So we get the picture, and then Sandman randomly just sees my phone. He's like, is that how you film? I mean, how does this thing work? Yeah. So I show him, and then I filmed. I said, hell, he's standing right here. So I filmed a quick video with me and him, and he gave a middle finger, and he walks away jokingly. That'll be $100. He was awesome, and I think, yeah. Then Matt Riddle, I saw him for a bit, chatted with him and his wife, who are awesome people, and he did my intro for my vlogs. And then that was it. That was the last time I saw you for the whole Friday.
Oh man. I went up to the guy. Okay, what? Okay,
talk about your Friday a little bit.
There's some wrestlers that are there, by themselves. They book themselves. They do their own. Whatever they make is whatever they make. And then there's other wrestlers that get brought in. They get charged a certain amount, and it's like up to the promoter to try and make sure that they get their money, and then
that's their heater
themselves.
Yeah.
Rob Van Dam was there with a promoter, and so I had to go to the promoter guy and ask him, like, hey, how much does Rob Van Dam want for an autograph? And he told me a price, and I was like, I only want like this wrestling card signed. Yeah. And he's like, no, it's $100.
Wow.
And it was just like, Rob, I love you, man. But I mean, I've bought your $40 combo probably 3 times in my life. I'm not.
That's what it was in 2017.
I just could not believe Rob Van Dam was the only guy that really gave me sticker shock on how much that they were.
Sandman did a little to me, knowing when I've seen him do stuff for free in indie shows here.
Yeah.
But I understand not to get with the way the country is with inflation and how prices went up. I don't think anybody really expected it to affect like WrestleCon like that. But who knows what they spent on their tables this year compared to years past. Mm-hmm. We just don't know. So in their mind, they had to charge more to recoup.
Yeah. I did pay $100 for one autograph.
That's insane.
Rob Van Dam was.
No offense, Rob Van Dam. Like,
I love you.
$100. He was like big show prices.
I probably had 2 of the coolest moments that I've ever had meeting wrestlers. One, it makes it seem like I'm patting myself on the back here or something like that. I went up to Indy Hartwell, and she was signing my card, and I was just kind of chatting with her. She makes videos on YouTube. Like, she has, like, I'm not sure if it's a weekly vlog or however often she does it, but she traveled back to her old house, and she was going through her childhood bedroom, and she was showing off her wrestling collection. She showed lots of DVDs, magazines, figures. Like, they kind of showed that, like, she's a normal mark, just like all of us. Like, that's where we all came from. She just learned to wrestle, and she's freaking good at it. But at the end of it, at the vlog, she was like, should I sell this stuff, or like, what do I do with it? And so when I was meeting her, I just was like, I saw your video when you were showing off your DVD collection, and I don't think you should ever sell your DVDs. We don't really know what's going on with the WWE Network, Peacock, where it's going, what it's becoming. We could lose all of this at the end of the year, and we're just going to go back to not having any wrestling other than what's on Netflix each and every week. But as I'm saying this, she's kind of like backing her head up, and she's kind of looking at me. And like, once I stop bumping my gums, she's all, are you Stevie Breech? And I was just like, I look her right in the eyes, and I'm like, how the fuck do you know who I am? Like
I was gonna bring that up, but I was like, please, I don't want to be the one to do it.
Oh yeah, I just
great story.
Like I don't know. Somebody had to watch those videos back in 2010 that I was making or something like that. So I'm just Indy Hartwell was a fan back in the day, which I think is just beyond the point of cool. Other than that, I went upstairs and I had one hell of a moment with Lex Luger. I think I met him Saturday because it was right after, it might have been Sunday, whatever. It was the day after he got put in the Hall of Fame. And as I was meeting him, I got 2 autographs and a picture with him. I told him that, like, the stuff he does with Diamond Dallas Page is really uplifting to me. It means a lot to me. I said, my dad, he had a stroke in 2017, and I wish he would get better. But he's just kind of stuck in the same spot he's been. And he asked me some questions about my dad. And that hit me really hard. I never thought I would cry in the middle of a convention like that. But he just said, hey, just calm down. Do you mind if I pray with you? And he prayed with me right there in the middle of the floor. I mean, this guy got put in the WWE Hall of Fame the night before. And it's like stopping his autograph session where he's probably making at least $100 to $200 per person in line. And I never thought I would ever have a moment like that with a guy just trying to, just bring me back down to earth and like, tell me like, hey, everything's gonna be cool. Like God's got your dad and he'll take care of him.
I mean, I remember that story. I won't forget you telling me that story in Vegas. I think on the way to Mania.
Mm-hmm.
And then I read after that Lex did not go. We know that now as part of when they bring out the Hall of Famers.
I felt bad. I didn't even realize he wasn't there.
I didn't either till I read the article about it online. Now, Lex Luger explains Hall of Fame no-show. Now, I was BSing with some people. It's a long story. But he said he called them and was in touch with them that he just wasn't up to going.
Nah.
But he worked WrestleCon all day. But bottom line, Steve, that moment was more of a priority to him than being at Allegiant Stadium that night.
Yeah.
That's just like one I'm sure you'll never forget.
Oh yeah.
Which I remember you telling me that story, and it's still stuck in my head.
I mean, I'll never forget that. I saw my dad the other day, and I forgot to tell him that story. But next time I go over there, I'll be telling him how big Lex Luger. You bought those tickets back in the day, Dad. We saw him wrestle. That guy cares about you.
And he means it.
Uh-huh.
So, man, thanks for sharing that story, man.
That was awesome.
I know you didn't have to, and I appreciate it because I wasn't gonna bring it up.
Oh,
but anyway, we'll try to. Okay, so that was Saturday morning, right? Or Friday. Yeah, because it was day after Hall of Fame, but Friday night. Okay, this is where, and you'll tell your story. I did the GCW Joey Janela show after my day at the World and WrestleCon back and forth. I did and I had a blast. Can say I was at Sabu's last match. And after the show, Sandman did a run-in during that match.
Oh yeah.
And his handler remembers me from that day. He sees me talk as people comes running over. I'm wearing a Sandman shirt and goes, I remember you from today. You're wearing that Sandman shirt. Here's a gift from me and the Sandman. And I meant to hold it up tonight in the show. It's somewhere safe. But that was like a moment I won't forget all weekend. And he made a cameo in the vlog saying, this is for you. You earned it. So not as cool as your stuff, but like that was cool to me getting a Sandman shirt.
Your buddy was
washing it.
Don't give that to him.
Oh yeah. That was a buddy of mine you met. Well, my friend's friend who you met later on the trip.
Yeah, we met.
I did that. I got to go to In-N-Out Burger after that, which was heavenly. But tell me about your Friday night, man. You kind of did the tourist thing, right?
I did really, really easy. I just kind of laid back. I did WrestleCon until it was done, and then from there I left to go to a wrestling. They call it like a wrestling swap meet, and they had some stuff there, but like really, I was way too late. I missed the podcast guys that I was hoping to meet. A lot of the merch had really been picked through. There was like, the feeling when you want to buy something just to buy something. Like I kept on asking, like, "Hey, what about that shirt? What about that shirt? What about that shirt?" And they didn't
just justify going in the first place.
Yeah. They didn't have any XLs. They had a really cool WCW Spring Break shirt. They had an Outsider shirt. They had a couple other things, but just nothing in my size. So I was like, "Well, I'm out of here."
That was the stuff I think you had told me earlier that day you were looking for.
Yeah.
You went to it. Yeah.
I left there. I went to the what do they call that place? It's like the Las Vegas light
Neon Museum.
Yeah, the Neon Museum. There we go. And I walked around that. I can honestly tell you that place was a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. Like it was a good 30 minutes, maybe 40-minute walk around. They had weird rules. They didn't want you filming on a camera, but you could film on your phone. I didn't really understand that one. Probably the biggest pop I got of the whole night was right before I left, I said, "Hey, I got a stupid question for you. Like, is this where they filmed that scene in Vegas Vacation? Well, when she climbs up on top of the lights and she's dancing?" And he's like, "No, they didn't film that here. They filmed it at the old location." And then he walks me around and he's like, "She was actually standing on top of that light right there." And I'm just
That's
like,
cool.
this was like not what I was expecting to get at all. And
Yeah.
like he was like going in depth on how they shot it, how they filmed it. They built a platform for her to stand on the middle of it. And I walked away being like, I learned something today. I thought that was really, really cool. Probably one of the dumbest things that I did all week long that I just wanted to do because we were in Vegas and it was there. From there, I left and I went to the wedding chapel that Triple H married Stephanie McMahon on Monday Night Raw back in was that 98 or 99?
99.
Whatever it was when they pulled
When he interrupted Test, the wedding with her and Test.
yeah. They pulled through the Chapel of Love.
Yeah.
And I just kind of looked around there. I was only there for maybe 5 minutes at the most. It looked like exactly what I thought it was going to look like. And from there, I walked down the street just to start walking. And I ended up getting to the monorail. I rode it down to the link where I went to Outback and enjoyed like a nice. I was at Outback for probably an hour and a half. Like that party of one, just sitting there, and the guy just brought me soda after soda after soda, and asked me what I was doing, and I was like, honestly, I think I'm just waiting till it gets dark, and I'm just gonna head over to the Bellagio and see the fountain show. And so he just made sure I was able to stay there as long as I needed to. Didn't really bother me. Kept giving me refills and bread and this, that, and the other. But the fountain show was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And that was the last thing I did. I just headed back to the room after that.
So that was okay. So my Friday, you did that. I did the GCW show. Like I said, awesome time. In-N-Out Burger. See, for people who don't know, I live in Florida. I don't have In-N-Out Burger. So for me, that was like the biggest treat. He lives in California. He's used to that. But you don't have Outback.
I mean, end of the street here. I mean,
not fair. Fair. And I went to. It's funny that how cool the cab drivers and Uber drivers were. I'm leaving the Palms, and to circle back when you talked about the cabs and the Uber situation, something was going on where there was a jam.
Yeah.
When they got through the jam, like 10, 12 pulled up, it got rectified. And I think I told the story in the last live stream we did that I said, first time I ever had an Uber driver cancel on me 800 feet away.
Oh, geez.
And I said, all right, I'm taking a cab. And I waited in line. And Missy Hyatt was in front of me. And she lives in Tallahassee. So we talked about, she gave me her card once again and was like, she's a hairstylist and barber.
Oh, there you go.
So she said, if you ever come back to town, you have a barber.
There we are.
I was like, I would get a haircut from you just to say Missy Hyatt cut my hair.
You can get your big rubber guy signed.
Here you go. So I'm talking to the cab driver. He's asking me where I'm staying, and I tell him Luxor, and he's like, okay, we were going to take you to this one, In-N-Out Burger, but there's a brand new one that's even closer to your hotel. It's better, and you can see Elysian Stadium behind you to close out your vlog.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that sounds awesome. Go to it. So I finished my night there. Next day, I did nothing in the morning. I thought about WrestleCon. I thought about going back to get Sandman to sign that shirt, and I said no. The reason why I'm here at this hotel so I can wake up, relax, and walk 10 minutes to WrestleMania. I'll never get that opportunity again. So you called me, and you were like doing your WrestleCon marathon. You're like, okay, I got Sting. Got to focus in line. Got Ronda Rousey. I'm like, all right, man, you got it, man. You got it. And then you called me and said, I'm just worried about getting to the stadium. You said, I know your hotel's right. But I said, well, just come to my hotel because it's right on the way for you. You have to pass my hotel. He goes, great. You said, I'm just worried about the line. And you said, most importantly, I'm worried about eating. And I said,
yeah, I forgot about that.
Like you were like, I'm so worried. Like I'm focused. I haven't eaten yet today. I said, dude, we got the food court here. You were like, oh my God, that'd be amazing. So I said, just come here whenever you want. And then you said, you sure? I said, in typical Steve fashion, yeah, but I don't want to hold you up from anything. I don't want to hold you up from anything. This is your trip too, your vlog, yada, yada. And I said, I'm doing nothing. I've done nothing but go to the Irish pub all day. You're not holding me up from anything. From what? Moving from one side of the room to the other, maybe walk around the hotel a little? You were like, awesome. So you got on the monorail, and then I told you about the tram ride from Excalibur to Mandalay Luxor. You figured that out. You came to my room. We hung out. We talked a little wrestling. And then I suggested, let's do a quick live stream. And then I said, I don't want to bother you with it. And you said, dude, I'm pumped up. Let's do it. And I was already at like a 7 or 8 going into the show of pumped upness. That put me at like an 11, just talking about night one. So we go to, we got some pizza at the hotel, and it was pretty good pizza. And then Steve is so used to the WrestleManias where he's on the go 24/7, and I get it. I've been there. The lady there says, do you want it to go or for here? And he's like, well, to go. And he says to me, of course I'll walk and eat. I'm like, dude, we can sit down for 5-10 minutes, man. You were like, are you sure? I was like, yes, we're doing that. And he was like, I'm not used to that on a WrestleMania day.
I couldn't believe how close we were.
I kept trying to assure you, but you didn't believe me until you saw it. So then he said he finishes and I finish, and he goes, do you really know how to get to Legion from here? I'm like, yes, we're gonna walk through all these shops right here at Mandalay Bay. Legion's gonna be right outside there. And you were like, this is just, I'm walking through air-conditioned shops to get to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And it's funny, in the vlog, it shows that with you, how you just couldn't believe it. We're walking through, and more wrestling fans started to pop up. And that's when Steve said, okay, I'm starting to think so. And then we get down the escalator, Mandalay, you make that quick right, and there's a big sign, Legion Stadium.
Yeah.
Walk outside, and there it is. And he was like, oh my God.
I had watched it.
Couldn't have worked out better.
I'd watched a few like Raider fans show how easy it is. And I watched those videos, and I just like, I couldn't comprehend how easy it was. My whole plan for when I was going and I was going to be by myself was, I'm just going to follow everybody else.
Yeah.
They got to know where they're going.
I kept telling you, just follow me. I got you. Follow me. I got you. I did this walk in December.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, like you believed me. You're like, wherever way, you just lead the way. But there was still that part of you like, come on, this is too good to be true. Because when we were at my hotel, you're like, all right, when you want to leave? When you want to leave? I'm like, dude, we're there. Like, we're there. It's whenever, but don't think we have like to travel now, really. We have a 10-minute walk. And you're like, 10 minutes? And then as soon as you get out Mandalay, walk up that bridge, there it is right there.
Boom.
And there it was. And then one of the best calls of the weekend, we go up. Steve probably had PTSD from WrestleMania in Dallas. We see a line outside the north entry. That's right off the strip and the bridge for Legion Stadium. It was long, that line, and we went, oh boy. And Steve goes, I watched a video.
A mixture of people mixing together. It was like people watching the pre-show, people trying to get in line, people like hanging out and probably meeting each other. But it was a cluster right there.
It was bad. So we kind of did an okie doke, and you said, you know what? I could be wrong. My ticket said for that gate. Your ticket said for the southwest entry on the other side.
Yeah.
But, you can go either way. You said, man, I watched this guy, Jay Cation. He specifically warned us. He warned people about this. So I said, I'm with you, man. We got time. And then you took us to the south. We went to the southwest entry, not a long walk to the other side. And when you're walking with Steve, man, you better have your shoes on. Don't let this guy and his bad ankle fool you, man. I looked 2 seconds one way. There was 4 or 5 times that I said, can you wait? Can you wait for me? And I'm not a slow walker. He just goes into a second. He's sneakily so fast. And we get to that gate. Was it pretty much no wait there?
If it wasn't for me like messing up the security thing by like I took everything out of my pocket and I'm trying to put them back in my pockets. And I think that I set the security alarm off, then I had to go in the security line. I mean, we would have been in that thing for like a minute and a half.
Yeah. I waited for you there.
Walked right through. We
get in and we're walking and we're all just like beat the system. And then we see the VIP people with the priority pass.
We smoked them.
There was an issue. They told us about it later that night. Some people were there. The machine wasn't working. there and the other side. Somehow the way we went was perfect.
What was that thing called? Priority
pass.
Okay. What I
package
read on Reddit is that they gave everybody the lanyards, and they made everybody think that they were special to provide. And that's why they had the priority line. Okay. That line, once you got in, only was really for the people.
On my friend John's right, on location.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. On location.
That's the package.
Yeah, but like once you got in, they had like a way to get to the club level seating. Mm-hmm. The only problem was a lot of people bought the silver packages and others, and they had seats in the 300s and 400s, and they had to find ways to put them other places. That's what the log jam was like people would get to the front of that line. They wouldn't want to treat them like they were in the wrong spots. They were trying to move.
There was an issue with the scanners there.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have that issue the next day.
No.
So we're walking in and we're pumped. And we walk around the stadium. I go my way. You kind of went. We kind of got a cool picture. Because right when we walked in, everybody made a beeline to just like that. I guess that end zone shot. Because everybody had to see it. And then I said, all right, I'm like old fashioned. I'm like, I just want to see where my seat is so I know. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, cool. I'm going to my seat. We worked it out perfectly where the escalator to my seat was right above where you sat.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll just meet you down. Because you said, I'll come up your way. I'm like, you're going to go against that? I'll meet you here. So I go to my seat. You're in your seat. And we were keeping in touch. And my seat was fine. There's not a bad seat in that stadium. I mean, that stadium is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. I mean, the roof was covered. You had air conditioning. I mean, it was nice in there. So we can just talk about our experience there, but right after, and I see an old call that I missed during the Jacob Fatu LA Knight match. Two of my friends who live there, who I met Money in the Bank 2016, they called me and said, we have an extra seat here. I was like, screw this match. And I hustled down, and right before I get there, they go, oh, a father and a son just took the seat. Really? Okay, I get it. And she said, it's not theirs. Somebody vomited on their seat, and they have to clean it up. And I said, yeah, but they're probably not going to want to go back to that seat. Sure enough, as I'm walking back, she gets a hold of me, my friend's wife, and goes, he left. It's yours. I sprint down. So I got there in time for the Grande Americano match against Ray Phoenix.
That's a match.
It was one section over from you.
Yeah, I don't remember that match at all.
That's right when I got there.
Yeah, I don't remember why.
Yeah.
I didn't get up or anything like that. I just don't think I just remembered the match happening. I remember it wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I thought the matches the first night were good. Nothing, oh my God, until the main event. The main event delivered like you expected times 5, times 10. Yeah. I thought was cool was on that end zone seat, or where the entrance was, those cushions and that like lounge.
Yeah.
I go to my friend, isn't that the Wynn Field Club? He goes, no, man, that's the field. There's no seats there in the Raider game. I'm like, well, that makes sense. So we catch up after Punk, Rollins, and Reigns, and you couldn't believe I happened to be right by there. Because you said, I'll wait, and you were just stunned watching Seth like leave with Paul Heyman. So talk about it, man. Talk about your night there. Please share.
I was really surprised. I was kind of surprised my seat was as good as it was. I bought a seat the first day when I was really scared that tickets were just inflating so fast. I found a ticket for like an angle seat. I was at 129. I was kind of even with the stage, but if they would have built like pillars like they did for WrestleMania 29.
That's the one I was thinking of. In Miami with those trees.
I would have been hosed. But the second I got to my seat, I was
because there was a warning in that section.
Yeah, we're all good. I mean that's I think that's why my price didn't increase like a lot of other ones. Yeah, everybody in my section, like we were high-fiving, like we lucked out. We're good.
You did. I was too hesitant to buy a seat in that section. I said I'll take my chance in the upper deck. Because you had a perfect view of that entrance.
Oh man, the entrance thing was awesome. Those people on the stage, I still want to find out more about that. How they got those seats. I don't think I would ever buy those seats, but I mean that
And that
was.
might be the only WrestleMania you see that.
Oh, I know they're gonna do that for every year from now
That's
on.
true. That's such a TKO thing.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. They're gonna have a seat in a corner pretty soon, like
Oh,
by
in the ring before you know it.
That's
So
it.
night one, so we meet up there. Great idea you had is we kind of took our time leaving, and the line calmed down, but it was busy leaving.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
It moved. Like we were fine. Next thing you know, you go, holy crap, we're back at your hotel. You're like, I'm not used to a 10-minute walk back.
Oh yeah.
So then you said, are you hungry? I said, yes, I was starving. So then we figure out, we try to get a place in the Mandalay. Everybody from night one just didn't know where to go or whatever. They stayed there. Could not get a table anywhere. And I just said, man, I'm so down to just take the tram and go to the Strip and go to Denny's. And you're like, sign me up.
Yeah, man.
We had a Young Bucks type night to end the night.
Oh yeah.
Denny's.
The awesome thing about it was that everybody in those restaurants were all wrestling fans, and you could talk to anybody anywhere, and it was like you guys were friends for years.
Yeah. How many times the servers come by and they'd be like, oh, you're here for WrestleMania?
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, this is Vegas where they're used to events every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a city that's not used to this type of stuff, or Vegas, it's another weekend. Maybe a little more, but everywhere we went, oh, you're here for Mania. Are you having fun? Oh, you're having fun. We're so glad to have you. More than I've ever seen before there. So did the Denny's thing. Next morning, same deal for me. I said, I'm not leaving the hotel until it's time to go to Mania. You said, I got WrestleCon again.
One more day.
I got one more day, brother. One more round. So you did that, and same deal again. We met up at the hotel, and this time Steve's like, all right, I know the deal now. And that was even easier getting in the stadium.
Oh yeah. We just walked right through the gates, pretty much. Walked right up the steps and into the arena.
Awesome. No, it was perfect. It was not as crazy getting there day two. Only thing I was hoping for was I wanted to get more content in the tailgate area. It wasn't a tailgate event type thing. Where Philly the year before had a lot of fans from Philly, New York, Jersey, the tri-state area. So a lot of cars were there and people were grilling and drinking. It wasn't like that in Vegas.
Pretty much
mostly out of towners.
Pre-show desk and like the people who wanted to get on the pre-show and hang out behind the stage, I guess, and walking into the arena. That's pretty much all there was.
Yeah, it was fun. It's pretty much. And I remember we're walking. You're like, why do I hear Big E's voice? I'm like, because he's right there. And oh my God, there's the stage. So night two, we're waiting for it. So when I was in my Cody gear, you're in your John Cena gear. I was in my normal seat that was planned for that night. You had the lucky seat. Man, talk about your night two experience. It was your first night, 2 nights.
It was just banger after banger after banger. I had said that I had been scared about going to a 2-day Mania, but like when you show up for the second day, like I remember like I was in my seat and the person to my left and the person to my right weren't there. Like I was worried about them. Like I was like, where are these guys? Like the show's about to
get there since last night.
What was going on with you guys? It was like everybody kind of knew everybody.
I'm sick.
You learn what kind of fan everybody was. Like, don't talk to that guy that so much. He doesn't want to talk to people. But this guy loves to high five after every match. Like, you just kind of learned everybody in your section. I thought that was really, really fun.
Yeah, we had that. Like our section, we all went nuts for Dom, and the whole crowd did. We were all high-fiving. I was like the lone Cody person in my section, but nobody bothered about it. It's not like that. But the night before I switched seats, I don't know if you ever watched MMA and you ever see the cornermen.
Oh yeah,
shout out instructions to their fighter. There was a guy like 2 seats over me. Watch the headlock. Reverse this. I'm like, oh God, is he gonna do this? I mean, he bought a ticket. It's his right to do it.
Uh,
Am I gonna have to hear him coaching all night? What's the reversal like? I'm like, buddy, it's pro wrestling. Like, but I ended up moving that night. He was a nice guy. At one point, he did turn around. He had a thick New York accent. He was like, "Sorry, everybody, I just can't help it." Like,
I would love to be next to that guy.
yeah.
Somebody that you know cares about what's going on. Is
100%.
like just
But he
cheer.
was cool. Everybody was cool. And then I left. I sprinted out to get to my friend's area. But it's night 2. Different vibe in there before the show. Everybody thought like something crazy was going to go down. Not just Cena winning.
Yeah,
We didn't get it.
Everybody had conspiracy theories of this, that, or the other that they thought was going to happen.
Yeah, they got me on that. My friend thinks that was me doing that. No, I've never done MMA coaching, John, at a wrestling match. But so night 2, Cena won. I kind of like how they did it, where they had us go, what? I think it worked. Now I don't know if there was conflict with The Rock and Triple H. We talked about that the next night. We can get into that later. But what'd you think of it, man?
I thought that it was crazy. Once it ended, nobody believed it ended, and everybody just stood there, just looking like nobody wanted to leave. There was nobody in the aisles. It was just like, wait a minute, this isn't what we signed up for. It's for everybody. Everybody was expecting one thing or another. It didn't matter if you were thinking that Cody was going to win. Didn't matter if you were thinking Cena was going to win. You're like, wait a minute, that's not what I thought was going to happen. And it just honestly was just an all-out ass kicking. And Cena won the belt. And there was no extra fireworks after the show. It was just Cena wins because Cena always wins.
Yeah, we were waiting for something to be like,
Yeah.
So the baby face or some type of, never got it. But I think that was the intention. I don't know. We will never know till later down the line, if ever.
Yeah.
So, but before we went to night 2, I forgot. Steve's like, "You're doing Raw, of course, tomorrow." And I was like, "Yeah, of course." He goes, "Man, I was thinking, let's do the roller coaster at New York, New York, because New York, New York. If you've never been to Vegas and T-Mobile Arena, it's like directly next door to T-Mobile Arena." I'm like, "Dude, I love a roller coaster. Sign me up." And next day, I think it was like 11:30. Doors open at 3:30. You called me and said, "Should I come over now? Your hotel?" Or no, we said we'd meet at New York, New York. That was like right in the middle of both of us. And I'm like, "Steve, the doors don't open for 4 hours." And I call him back an hour later. "All right, you got me ready to go. Let's go."
I was like, I can either stay here and pack, which I do not want to do.
Yeah. You were afraid you wouldn't get up. You said you were afraid if I lay down, it's over.
Yeah.
And I can respect that. So I said, "All right, I'm up. I'm ready. Let's go." We get there. Roller coaster, man, thank you, was awesome.
That roller coaster, I had watched a lot of reviews on YouTube, and people say that that's a bad coaster. Maybe I haven't been on enough. I loved it. I rode that thing 3 times that week, and if I had a chance, I would go back and do it again.
We thought about doing it a 4th and passed.
Yeah.
I said, "Are you in a rush?" And you're like, "Absolutely not," because we walked in and it was pretty busy, that line. But it worked out that the wait was great because we were BSing and it killed a little more time before the doors opened for Raw. We walked in and she goes to us, "All right, 2 of you, row 4 or whatever." And I said, "Do you mind if we wait an extra ride for line 1 for the first row?" And she's like, "Okay, go for it." And we were like, "Dude, why didn't you think of that?"
That was awesome.
And I'm like, "Do you mind waiting?" You're like, "No, we get to do the first row." And the view of the city, man, from up there is incredible. You got an insane view of the Strip.
And up. And I mean, wrestling related, you're looking at that stuff. But I mean, if you turn your head, you can see all the way down to the Strat. I mean, you can see anything and everything.
Yeah, and it's a longer than usual roller coaster. Like, you get your money's worth.
I think so.
Yeah, it was awesome. We hang out there for a bit, and then it's time for Monday Night Raw. We walk and we see the line down the street, and we go, "Oh no!" Turns out there was a delay with the doors opening. Some reason.
The truth, like when we were waiting to get into that place, T-Mobile, That was the first time I felt hot all weekend. That was the
Yeah,
first
we didn't talk about how great the weather was.
on outside. Yeah.
So it was, yeah. And then a buddy of mine and his friend pull up, a friend of mine from England who I met like 8 years ago. Next thing we know, we're in line, me, Steve, my friend Mark, and his friend Ben. Took one of my favorite pictures from that weekend. And we're in line BSing, and the doors opened. And Monday Night Raw delivered. Really, first one after Mania in a while that you left. Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about your night there, or is your first time at T-Mobile?
Every segment mattered. Every match mattered. There was, a big returns, debuts, call-ups, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That I mean, I think you said that Triple H had done an interview that day on McAfee or something like that, where you we're gonna bring it back big, and I think they did. I kind of debated whether to go to Raw or not. And I think that sitting at home, the last few Raws after Mania haven't really delivered.
Yeah.
But I needed that exclamation point on my trip, and I think I got what I wanted.
Right.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly for me because I had to decide. I wasn't heading home from there, so I had to decide what I wanted to do. And then I said, I'm doing Raw. I said, first Raw on Netflix after Mania, they have to make it big. And they did. They did. I mean, you left there. I mean, Braun Breaker joining Seth with Paul Heyman. Cool, great segment to end the show. I think that's when we did our goodbye. We did our goodbyes after that, went about our ways. But man, for anybody who watches this, man, would this make you want to go back to WrestleMania again, or was this the retirement show, the John Cena last WrestleMania for Stevie Breech too?
I'm good sitting for a while. I do want to chase the high of going with my friends again. And, we're gonna have a real discussion about it. My buddy Ravi, oh shoot, I forgot where he went. He went somewhere, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll be gone 2 weeks. When I get back, we'll talk about it." Because I was kind of talking about booking a room or something like that, and we were trying to figure out who how big our group is going to be and stuff like that. And if I could go with them, I would go. But if I wouldn't plan on going by myself again. I just that was, I mean, A, it's a lot of time. B, it's a lot of money. And
it's a longer trip for you this time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of time to think about it, but I thought it was a successful trip.
I mean, I saw it all.
Yeah. I mean, this Vegas was just such a home run with Mania. One of my favorite trips ever there. So great time, Mania. I'm glad we got to hang out. We'll just close the show a little bit. Anything you want to add, go for it about Mania. Anything you forgot? Whatever.
I've noticed two things with the wrestling business.
Please.
That I was really everybody saw the prices. I think there was a lot of negative Nancys out there who couldn't afford to go to WrestleMania this year because the prices were astronomically high, and they didn't go. So they were kind of being negative about the show and this, that, and the other. The people that went, I think they loved it. Las Vegas was an awesome town. There was plenty. There was too much to do. That's the best way to put it. There was Vegas stuff. There was more than enough independent stuff. There's too much WWE stuff. But I mean, if you went there, you really could do. You could be busy the whole entire week. But I was wondering, is this what WWE TKO is going to be? Is just astronomical high prices. But then I noticed that when SummerSlam tickets went on sale a few days ago, that their seats in the 300s were $200
for both nights,
and for both nights. And I was that is really affordable. That's a good sign to me that maybe either.
And New York has bigger market than Vegas.
Yeah, maybe it was just because it was Vegas, it was high.
Yeah.
Maybe there could be a lot of things, but like I was kind of like, okay, we're still gonna have affordable tickets for families to take their sons and daughters and share the love of wrestling. It's not just going to be 18 to 25-year-old single guys just go in there and being able to buy these tickets up. They need to have an affordable seat for a lot of people. But then today, Money in the Bank went on pre-sale for LA. They're going to be in that new place where the first Raw on Netflix was with the Clippers play. Astronomically high again. I'm guessing it's because it's LA. It's a brand new arena. I'm guessing there's some sort of taxes or fees that go along with being in LA. But everything that I was like, okay, we're gonna go back down to earth with the SummerSlam prices. No, $1,000 to sit in the upper deck of that place, and that place is a basketball arena. It's not even really that big. So,
well, there's more of a demand than
I've seen a Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania 26. I've never been to a Money in the Bank show.
But the several
to see another one again.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, I got sort of plans. We got to talk it out about going to San Diego for Survivor Series.
They announced that during Raw. Remember
how the West Coast got so lucky with so many pay-per-views this year? I'm not quite sure. But I mean, that's the next big show that I'm thinking about.
Isn't TKO Los Angeles company?
I guess. They're either LA or they're Vegas, something like that. But San Diego's getting a show. LA's getting a show. WrestleMania got the Las Vegas got the WrestleMania, the biggest show. So I guess they like it out here.
I guess so.
And then
there's a lot of big time West Coast wrestlers on the roster now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're booking based on that, but I'm sure it's going to play into that.
You've been on the boat, so I don't know if you've been looking into things or not. But one thing I also noticed is that with TKO in charge, wrestling fans are not going to be able to surprise towns that they're coming anymore. The city of New Orleans, fully aware that WrestleMania is coming. And the few places that I looked to see what rates were going to be were high. The Drury, where we stayed for WrestleMania 30, where my friends stayed for WrestleMania 34. Maybe you can get lucky. Maybe you can wait and see if WrestleCon does a group rate, and maybe they'll stay there again and you can get a room cheaper. But if you want to book one now, it's about $300 a night. If you went around the corner where the convention center was, where Access was before, you can get a room across the street from that for about $275 a night. So, I mean, you're going to need a group, or you're going to need to have that wallet on your hands.
Vegas ended up being reasonable.
And then another
compared to like that,
the New Orleans hotel is requiring you to pay in advance for any dates connected to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, and your deposit is 100% non-refundable.
What?
Yeah,
there's the parts in the hotel that says prepay and standard.
I looked at place after place after place, and I was like, oh, I guess that we're not going to be surprising people. I remember that last year around this time, because it was on the Kentucky Derby, when WWE made the announcement that they were going to Las Vegas. People knew.
But my friend John hates New Orleans, so he's not surprised.
Didn't know for sure. But I remember, like, they announced it on Sunday, and Monday morning we booked our room thinking that we were going to cheat the system and get a cheaper rate because they didn't know about WrestleMania yet. But they're ready. They know about us, and probably wherever they're going for WrestleMania 43, they know too.
Well, the Sports Commission in New Orleans sends out a memo. and City of New Orleans, they had a huge press conference like announcing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not surprised. It's like that with Metallica when they go to places. You have about one day to try to get it at a decent rate, and then all the Metallica fans come in and it's a wrap. But it's not like Mania, of course. So that's good advice about next year in New Orleans, because I don't know. This year just worked out so perfectly for me. I just couldn't pass it up. Not sure about next year. Like I was saying, this is it for me, man. It was a nice way to end it.
Is this the first 2-night SummerSlam? Have they done SummerSlam 2 nights before?
Nope.
So this is the first one. Okay. Yep. This could be. I think that could be a mess later on.
It was supposed to be next year was the first 2 nights SummerSlam.
Oh, okay.
They ended up pushing it up a year early. It was supposed to be for Minnesota, I think. Mm-hmm. Where people every year said, "This is the year Minnesota gets Mania. This is the year Minnesota gets Mania with that stadium."
They got SummerSlam.
They got SummerSlam. That's when I said people thought it'd be Brock's last match.
Indianapolis signed that deal. They got SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania in 3 years.
WrestleMania?
They got the big 3 years in a row. They've already got the Rumble, so I'm guessing they're gonna get Mania the next year and use WrestleMania.
Orlando's put in a bid for like $18 million. Damn. 43 in Indy. My friend John's saying 40. He's generally pretty right about this stuff.
Yeah.
They said that's true, because Orlando put in a bid to try to get $18 million to get either the Rumble or Mania.
They'd have to do that football stadium thing that they did.
The only place they have for it.
4 or wherever.
Yeah, the Camping World. That's the only place they have for it. Not in the best part of town, but it works.
Yeah.
But the sports commission there is very aggressive. But people want WWE anytime now. It's not like we just want Mania. Like they'll take Rumble for a weekend. They'll take SummerSlam. These PLEs bring in money now. Triple H has done such a great job of making it a destination event.
Yeah.
Which Elimination Chamber, it's just such a good job. And like the way they were announcing it over the weekend, randomly we see about Money in the Bank. Randomly we see about Survivor Series out of nowhere. And the place popped for it.
Mm-hmm.
For Petco Park, Survivor Series? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they're thinking globally. They're thinking, well, I mean, not that Vince didn't, but Vince could never have seen past a stadium for Mania. So real quick, Backlash is this weekend. Hard to believe we got another pay-per-view on the horizon. Keep it simple. We're not going to go through every match. Just what's a couple of things you're thinking of going into the show?
I think this is a WrestleMania-like card. I think it's I think it's really good. Five matches. I really thought we were gonna get like 7. I was thinking that we were gonna get Uso versus Logan Paul. I was thinking we were gonna get Punk and Roman versus Braun and Seth. But I guess we're gonna have to wait for that.
Oh, that's a fact, John. Sorry.
But what I'm really looking forward to is that like all of us know. I mean, if I knew the largest Randy Orton fan in the world,
you're talking to him.
Well, I apologize, but I would like to put you in this. I think the biggest Orton fan in the world knows Randy Orton is not going to win this match.
I know. It's just cool that he gets a main event in his hometown.
I think that's what it is. But then another part of me is thinking that like this is probably Randy Orton's last main event match that he's ever going to have in his career. They've both been going since 2002. Yes, Orton is younger than Cena, but he ain't
that much. 2 years. He's in better shape, much better shape.
Yeah, when are they going to be able to heat him up enough to be in another main event? I think it might not be the biggest match he has, but I mean, it's definitely probably going to be one of his last main events.
No, and he hinted at that the other night when he said, "My family's going to be there."
Yeah.
And I'm sure Cena and him both wanted this match. Like Cena's like, let St. Louis be one of my spots.
But I think this is going to be like 2008 all over again. These guys are going to be going out there, and I think they're going to deliver. I mean, I think we're going to see RKOs. We're going to see FUs. It's just gonna be what everybody wants to see. It's gonna be close finish, false finishes. But
I had
Cena's walking out.
Sorry, I had Orton as my friend John's asking who was Cena's last opponent. I don't know. It seems like they're. I mean, the Cody rematch is going to happen at some point.
I was scared when I saw that SummerSlam poster. They're not like on there looking at each other, but I mean, like I was looking and I was like, dude, they're gonna do it at SummerSlam. If it was up to me, I would deliver these dream matches that we want to see because we still want to see Punk versus Cena. There's other matches out there. I would save the Cody match until the last freaking match.
I think so
now
too.
Or never. Cody's gonna.
Aren't they running like a special pay-per-view in December for Cena for his last?
Yeah,
I could be wrong because I kept saying it doesn't make sense, man. Cena's gonna have his last match in December. That's not exactly like a marquee time of the year. Yeah. I know it's the end of the year, but I mean it's not like a Mania or a SummerSlam or a Rumble.
It's like those PLC shows that you just. Well, they did that Orton Cena one that was important, and like 2013. But I mean, besides for that, a lot of them you could just skip.
Kevin Abreu, get the coffee because Randy's versus Cena is going to be slow. Okay, man. Randy Orton can still go. Cena, you see the wear and tear in his body. Just seeing him next to Cody, in my opinion, physically, man, he is. I mean, obviously, he's got a different frame now for his Hollywood career.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have that muscular look like he used to have. And Cody doesn't get enough credit, but he did such a good job of helping Cena. Cena's not used to working a heel match at all. Cody did such a great job of doing that, main event style. And Cody did a great job of working with John's, I don't want to say limitations. Like John has said years ago, I would love to do a full schedule. My body can't take it.
Yeah.
And you saw times in that match where he really had to push through Cena, and Cody did a great job of selling and making him look good there. But I think Orton's still a high-level player if he's healthy. I mean, look at the shape he's in.
I mean, maybe he can go 2-3 years.
I think he's doing this last run with Cody out in St. Louis here.
Yeah,
I think
I just think that we're in for one of the biggest matches at the end of his career. Like, he ain't gonna retire tomorrow, but
I wish there was more time for the build-up. But it is what it is. The calendar never stops. So, and then Kevin said another thing. My friend, this is not going to be like 2028 because both men are old. Okay. I wish, all right, I'm 47, but I wish I was 45, 47, looking like Randy Orton. Cena still looks good too, but you could tell he's shredded a lot of the muscle. But yeah, one person can make John Cena look good. Is not Randy Orton or CM Punk, Seth Rollins. He's gotten injured 3 times with Seth Rollins. For some reason, their chemistry has not been the best. Seth Rollins can make anyone look good, man. All jokes aside, I am very happy to see him in the role he's in right now.
I would be surprised to see Braun and Seth be involved in that match somehow. I mean, he wants the World Heavyweight Championship. He wants the WWE Championship. They want to basically be running WWE. I just wouldn't be.
They want to run Raw though, not to interrupt you. They want to run Raw.
Oh, I got you.
And that seems to be. Not sorry to interrupt there, but that seems to be because Paul Heyman said he has to. He went with Jay Uso last night. He has to be the champion here. And remember, he was like, "Sammy, go to SmackDown, where we'll leave you alone."
Oh yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, you're all right.
So like they're trying to run roughshod on Raw. I would curious if they add to that stable. We all assumed. Who knows what's going to happen there? I think WWE is at the point Triple H likes it, whereas if it's something that we think is big, but we don't care that we'll give you the tea leaves, man. We're not going to hide it. Like Punk and Rollins, Heyman, all this stuff. They basically told us that was happening. It was well done.
Yeah.
But every tea leaf, they basically said it was happening. So when they actually do a surprise, like Cena turning heel, your jaw hits the ground. Like, oh my God, when we really want to surprise you, when we really want that viral moment, we can do it. Not everything's a secret.
Speaking of like viral moments that they give us, Pat McAfee and The Rock, when they were doing their whole thing,
Mhm.
The Rock said that he showed up in Toronto because he was personally asked as a favor to try and sell tickets because they needed to move tickets for Toronto. That's why he showed up. There were
He
no
said that?
yeah. There were no plans for WrestleMania 41. So I was wondering today, what the hell was he doing at Bad Blood? Did he sell up? Did he show up to Atlanta for the same
He
reason?
was in Atlanta anyway that weekend, that area.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, he had made a promise to a football coach in that area that he would make an appearance there that weekend. It always seems to tie in, so I don't know how much of that I believe.
Yeah.
But that's a great point. I don't think he's like, well, I'll be there anyway, so I'll come out and do this. Like, he said there was a long game moment in Atlanta that night.
I got no clue.
It's funny. I didn't think they would ever admit that that's why he was in Toronto.
I just pushed him away.
I'd be so much happier if he wasn't there.
Yeah.
He's nothing but a detriment. And I don't care who hears this and how many people love The Rock. I got so tired in Vegas of hearing, oh, Rock gonna be there. Is Rock gonna be there? Is Rock gonna be there? I can't believe he wasn't there. Who cares? He gave his reason that it would take away from John's moment.
Yeah.
He was there. He said, I did my job in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Mr. Football.
Thank you.
When is college football like kickoff? Is this Pat McAfee's goodbye to WWE until the Royal Rumble?
No.
Is why he's having this? You don't think so?
No. He'll do up until SummerSlam.
Okay.
Around that time.
Crushed, and
it's
then
the weekend before Labor Day is like the week 0 games.
Okay.
Thanks for that Mr. Football comment. It's like the week 0 games, and then like Labor Day on, he's pretty slammed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's around that time. He can definitely work through the summer.
I was dreaming that he gets crushed, and then we see Goldberg come back.
That could happen. He might take some time off.
The only connection Goldberg and McAfee have is football, but Goldberg comes back, makes the save, and we can finally get this Goldberg last match off the ground.
That's the last thing I want to see. Poor Gunther. Gunther pissed off to have to get that match. Yeah. So I think that's it, and it's a good payday for him.
Mm-hmm.
But McAfee can never really take time off because he always has to do his show every day.
Is the reason why he leaves WWE during the college football season is because it would be too much to do those 3 jobs, or does ESPN tell him like, hey, we can't have you doing this?
I mean, he does Saturday morning game day.
Yeah.
And he does his show 5 days a week. He does the show the day before game day on the location of where they're going to be for that game.
Uh-huh.
There's no way he can pull off all 3.
Oh, okay.
And football is technically his busiest time of the year.
Yeah.
For his show and that stuff. And that's why he's got to take a break during. It's really 4 months, 3-4 months, if you think about it. Here and there during the playoffs, but yeah, it's just too much. Now, granted, in the beginning, he did Friday Night SmackDown, so there was 0 chance that he could be there. Now he does Monday Night Raw, so maybe once in a while he can make a return.
There you go.
If he does Saturday game day, off Sunday, does his show, if it's nearby, he could probably pull it off. But I'm sure it's in his contract with ESPN, like, because they don't want him bumping and then he shows up on game day.
Yeah.
Because it's high risk activity. I don't know. I don't know how it is with TKO now with him too.
I think
Vince was just grateful to have him, so he worked around his schedule.
Yeah. I guess that's 4. Let's see. The Adam Cole match, the War Games match, and then the Austin Theory match. This is his 4th match in WWE. Those are at least the ones that I can remember.
I'm trying to think. He did the SummerSlam.
Who did he fight at SummerSlam?
He did in Nashville, remember?
No.
I'm gonna look it up right now because it's gonna piss me off. I was there for it. You'd think I'd remember. I remember his awesome entrance there. My friend John will probably know he's a huge McAfee guy.
Let's go.
I love that.
Oh, Baron Corbin. Shoot, you're right. I remember. I don't remember, but I remember.
Yeah. Okay, so he had Baron Corbin there. So he's done about 4, maybe 5. Yeah. I don't think he's done any like TV matches.
I think
Not like I mean like Raw or SmackDown. I don't think he's done that.
I don't think there's any way.
That was cool at Raw. Sorry.
Yeah.
That McAfee segment.
That it seemed real to me.
Like, when his boys jumped over the railing and like all hell broke loose.
Especially with, like, we don't have commentary. Like, so like you're just kind of watching and like you're having to make your own story up a little bit, and it's just like I'm not sure what happened, but that looked real. Like,
yeah, it was so well done. Like even people in my section were like, "Bravo, well done." But so I think we covered our weekend in Vegas, man. I want to thank you for being a part of it with me and making cameos in my vlog. Your vlogs were great, man. I highly encourage people to go to Stevie's channel and watch his content. He was getting it up daily there while he was there. And I said, "What's your secret?" And he's like, "I don't edit." I'm like, "Sweet." He's like,
boom. Yeah.
that was fun.
I had a lot of fun. It's been a long time since I ever thought about doing anything like that. And it like revived like a passion in me. And like I guess you can take it one way, but the amount of people that came up to me and told me that they used to watch my videos back in the day, like
I witnessed it.
That was so cool.
At least I counted. Now with me, I'm sure it might have happened more without you, like Indy Hartwell. At least 3 or 4 times, and every time Steve would just give a face of like a guy from England walks up to him first day in the Superstore. Oh my God, Stevie Breech. I got this one. My favorite one was the one before Raw.
Oh,
Who said came up to you numb and said, "I'm at this WrestleMania because of your videos from back in the day."
Yeah, that means a lot.
I walked away like they didn't have their moment, and that's when you called me back to take the picture.
The amount of people that watch those videos and it just like oh, you can do this. Like, like if you're just sitting at home being like, I want to go to WrestleMania someday, it seems like it's an impossible thing. But if like this guy can figure out how to do it, like I honestly, I probably honestly would have gone to WrestleMania 17, WrestleMania 19, if I knew how to plan a trip as like an 18-year-old kid or however the heck old I was. Like I wanted to go.
And I kept, before the internet.
Yeah, I kept telling myself like I'm gonna go to this, I'm gonna go to this. And next thing I know, I'm sitting on my couch and I'm watching it on TV.
A friend of mine who I've known a while, Steve knew him from New Orleans and like went separate ways in life, but like knew each other by face at least. We walked past each other. So Steve's to my right at this moment. There's a Wahlburgers in the Mandalay. It's one of my favorite stores of the weekend. He has his back to me, and then I see my friend, so I walk over to him. My friend Dre comes over, gives me a hug. I said, "That's Steve." He goes, "Oh, okay." He walks over and introduces himself. Like doesn't think he knows him. I'm like, "Stevie Breech," and he was like, and then they by face recognize each other, and he goes, "This is your return to WrestleMania, man." Like this is, he couldn't believe he saw you. And then he put up a Facebook that post of a picture of the 3 of us, and he was like, it was his videos that inspired me to go to Mania and really push in the Twitter world, even though I'm not on it anymore. So like it was just so cool, man. Like seeing that, like when you were like, my videos were 12 years ago. Some of them.
People remember them, and people like get like a point of like, oh, it's April, I gotta start watching these vlogs again, and it's just like, it's just me and my stupid friends like getting in a car driving around.
I know, like we should have done more of our banter. Like you always hindsight's 2020 after the vlog.
Yeah,
some of our banter was hilarious, and we got only like very little of it. I think because we were like caught up in the moment, or sometimes you were filming. I didn't want to bother you.
Yeah.
Even though you'd be like, "No, interrupt. I don't care." Like, yeah. Well, my friend says your videos still pop up on his feed.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. My friend, John, he respects your stuff and just great stuff. So, man, I encourage you to watch these videos from the weekend. He gets great play-by-play on a lot of stuff, and he has a lot of WrestleCon there. Really cool. Man, anything you want to add on the way out, man? Like, it's been a great chat tonight.
Nah, dude, it was a good time. I appreciate you being there and keeping me company and getting us to the shows on time because that I was freaking out. I really was worried about us getting there on time.
I was like, dude, I got this covered. I just want you to have fun, man.
That's it.
And then shout out Allegiant Stadium too, man. The concessions were fairly reasonable in prices.
Yeah,
Not bad. And they had like their A game as far as cocktails and just.
I had that really good Mexican hot dog that I still think about. It was good.
Nice. Oh yeah, they didn't have it in my section. Lucky guy. All right, so thank you. And Steve and I talked about it in Vegas, and we're going to try to do this once a week or once every 2 weeks at least. So he said he loves coming on, and we love having him here. So thank you again, Steve. You got any questions after this? You want to talk about WrestleMania? Talk about it. Myself or Steve will get back to you. You want to talk about Backlash? You want to talk about wrestling? We love talking about it, as you can tell. So, Steve, anything else?
All good.
Awesome. Take care, everyone.